All right, time for a quick update. This should hopefully be quick because I really only have one thing to mention, I believe, since last week, is that, like I said, last week I got the exhaust done, got all that stuff done. Talking with the tuner, he gave him a whole bunch of information about the car and the specs and the engine and all that kind of stuff, and going back and forth with him a little bit. But he does have a bass tune. He said ready, kind of a startup bass tune to go. But he had wanted me to prime slash pressurize the oil system before we started it, and I had tried to do that, based off Jordan's video years ago with like a pump up, like handheld pressure, like weed, sprayer type thing. But it never really worked right. I didn't think that it actually did anything because I just couldn't quite build up enough pressure with the handheld pump to really do it like he had shown. So I had some other people say, some other friends just tell me, nah, they don't just, pull the fuses for the injectors and the pumps so nothing sprays, and just crank the engine over, and that will do it just fine. That'll build enough pressure through the system. He didn't really care for that idea. He just thought that turning it over, as much you could turn it over, he said, all day, and you're just not going to build enough pressure really to get everything through the system. And he said these, mod motors slash GT500 motors, are notorious for taking, some time to get the engine or to get the oil up from the pan up into the top of the motor. And he's like, you could have a chain slip, because the tensioners didn't have enough oil pressure on them or stuff like that. So he really wanted me to pressurize it through a tank system, like a pressurized tank. So I ended up buying one. Just found one on Summit. Just a little pressurized tank that holds a couple gallons, and that comes with like a little adapter and whatnot. So the adapter, it says it came with 1/4-inch threads, which when I talked to the local Ford dealer, that is because he had said to go. Sorry, he had said to go behind the oil filter where the oil pressure slash oil switch is, or sensor slash switch, oil pressure sensor slash switch, where that is. Take that out and put that in its place. And so the dealership looked, and it is 1/4-inch threads. But what I got, the adapter was 1/4-inch threads, but the size of it was just too big, and it wasn't going to fit in that hole. So I originally was going to just get I bought another pressure switch slash sensor, and the other little adapter it came with, and was basically just going to have a local shop basically, weld that together and make me something that would work. But the local shop is like, no, he goes, actually, I have an adapter that will go from that, 1/4-inch NTP threads to whatever the other threads were that go into the cable there, or the hose there. And he goes, no, I actually have one of those. So I got that from him, and man, it was a pain. It was a serious pain because there's not a lot of room down there with the headers and the K member and all that kind of stuff. But it took me a while, but I was able to get it out, and I was able to start pressurizing the system. And then I found out that the driver's side head, when they had that and were working on it, it sounds like from the looking at some stuff, there is like a drain, an engine drain plug that screws in, and they must have taken that out when they were working on it, and just didn't tell me about it or didn't put it back in. So when I was pressurizing the system, because there was oil coming out of one of the holes, and I'm like, I didn't have any bolts left over, so the engine wasn't missing a bolt. So doing some research and looking at my manual and stuff like that, looks like that is one. And so I found a bolt that worked and put it in there and kind of tested, ran some oil, pulled it out. Yep, oil starts coming out right away through that hole. And when I looked it up, what I had used was a 10 millimeter thread, 1.5, because it's metric, 1.5 thread and had a 15 millimeter head on it is the bolt I just happened to have around, but it was way too long. And when I looked up the little one that comes with it, or from the manual, that was exact same threads and size and everything. So that does appear to be what it is. But the one I found when I Googled it is super, super short. And I couldn't find anything locally that short. So I ended up getting the short the bolts I could, put a couple washers on it, and made it work. And next time the engine's out, I'll probably get from the local Ford dealer that actual plug, and then next time the engine's out, I will put it in. So that should, it's fixed for now, but that'll fix it permanently and kind of get things out of the way. It just is just under like a pinky width away from the header, so the bolt is right now, so it should be far enough away that it shouldn't be cause any problems. But that was a royal pain, but I guess on the good side, it is good that I found that now versus having everything having the bottom on, so I might not see the oil dripping out, or starting it up and taking it out and running it out of oil and then causing real damage. So I guess in the end was a good thing that was done. So, but that's about it. That was my struggle all week, is to get that taken care of, but it's finally done. So I think we are going to, I think he wanted me to do now a compression test, which I will do tomorrow, and then hopefully we should be able to fire it up. So hopefully the next video that we will be seeing, I will say that it fired and it fired up and everything is good, because a year ago, almost a year ago next month, or a year ago in a few weeks, is when it stopped working and stuff like that. So it hasn't been running since. Hopefully, the stuff we talked about going through the engine and the rocker and all that kind of stuff, hopefully that's why it didn't start. I don't know 100%, but now that everything is back together, we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it starts, and those issues were why it, wouldn't fire anymore and what was going on. So fingers crossed on that. But I said I was going to keep it short, and it's already longer than I thought. So that is it. But hopefully next week I will have good news, and we will fire. It will fire and be running, and we'll be on our way. So thanks for watching. Bye.